America is facing a bit of a predicament, shall we say. It's like we're all collectively holding our breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's like we've gone to the doctor for a checkup, and the doctor just sighs, pinches the bridge of his nose, and says, "Well, it seems you've neglected your metaphorical economic vegetables again, haven't you?" And now, we're all paying the price. Millions of young Americans, those wide-eyed optimists who were promised a brighter future, are staring down the barrel of an economy that seems determined to make them the unluckiest generation in recent memory. They are grappling with a reality that feels more like a nightmare than the American dream. They were told to work hard, get good grades, and the American dream would be theirs for the taking. The formula seems simple enough: education plus effort equals success. Turns out the fine print on that dream included a mountain of student debt, a burden so heavy it feels like carrying a boulder uphill. And then there's the housing market, which resembles a game of Monopoly played with real money, and you can never afford Boardwalk. Home ownership, once a cornerstone of the American dream, now feels like a distant fantasy. Wages, on the other hand, haven't gotten the memo about inflation. They remain stubbornly stagnant, refusing to keep pace with the rising cost of living. This isn't just about avocado toast and delayed gratification, folks. It's about the fundamental ability to build a stable, secure life. This is about a generation that is being priced out of the very opportunities that were supposed to be their birthright. They're drowning in debt, struggling to make rent, and finding it increasingly difficult to save for the future. They're watching as the promise of a better tomorrow fades faster than a tan in October. The optimism that once fueled their ambitions is being eroded by the harsh realities of economic hardship. It's enough to make you want to crawl under a weighted blanket and never come out. The weight of financial stress is crushing, leaving many feeling overwhelmed and hopeless. But don't worry, there's no time for existential dread in this economy. The relentless pace of life demands that they keep moving, keep working, keep striving. We've got bills to pay and wages that barely cover the cost of, well, existing. The struggle to make ends meet is a daily battle. So buckle up, buttercups, because we're about to dive headfirst into the bleak reality facing young Americans today. It's a reality that requires resilience, determination, and a willingness to fight for a better future. We're going to unpack the statistics that reveal why so many of them are feeling like they've been handed a losing lottery ticket. The numbers don't lie, and they paint a sobering picture of economic disparity. And don't even think about clicking away, because this is one news cycle you can't afford to ignore. The stakes are too high and the consequences too severe for us to turn a blind eye to the struggles of an entire generation. Let's start with the basics, shall we? Employment. That thing you need to, afford to live. It's not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Without a job, paying for rent, groceries, and even basic utilities becomes a Herculean task. Well, last year, only 54.4% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 were actually employed. That's a staggering statistic when you think about it. That's right. Over 45% of young adults were left twiddling their thumbs, refreshing job boards, and wondering if they accidentally angered the employment gods in a previous life. It's a frustrating and demoralizing experience. This isn't just a case of lazy millennials refusing to work despite what your grumpy uncle might say. These young people are eager to contribute, to make a difference, and to start their careers. This is a systemic issue, folks. The job market is not as welcoming as it once was. It's a maze of challenges and obstacles that young people have to navigate. The job market is a fickle beast, and for young people, it's even more daunting. They face rejection after rejection, often without any feedback on how to improve. They're competing with more experienced workers, often for entry-level positions that barely pay a living wage. It's a tough competition, and the stakes are incredibly high. And let's not forget the elephant in the room, the ever-increasing cost of education. Higher education is supposed to be a pathway to better opportunities, but it's becoming a financial burden. Many young people are saddled with mountains of student loan debt before they even enter the workforce, forcing them to take any job they can get, regardless of their actual skills or aspirations. This debt hangs over their heads like a dark cloud. This lack of employment opportunities has a ripple effect, folks. It doesn't just stop at the individual level. It affects families, communities, and the economy as a whole. It delays financial independence, postpones major life decisions like buying a home or starting a family, and leaves an entire generation feeling disillusioned and left behind. These are not just statistics. These are real lives being affected. It's like being stuck in a never-ending game of economic limbo, and let me tell you, the limbo bar is set awfully low these days. The struggle is real, and it's time we start addressing these issues head-on. This next statistic is a real doozy. 1 in 5 young adults in the U.S. is classified as NEET, not in education, employment, or training. That's right, a staggering 20% of young people are essentially in a state of suspended animation, caught between the desire for a better future and the harsh realities of the present. They're not in school, they're not working, and they're not even acquiring new skills. It's like the economy hit the pause button on their lives, and no one seems to know when or if it will hit play again. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, are you suggesting that there are millions of young people just sitting around eating avocado toast and binge-watching Netflix? And to that I say, well, yes, but it's more complicated than that. The NEET category encompasses a wide range of individuals, from those struggling with mental health issues or disabilities to those who simply can't afford the education or training they need to succeed in today's economy. This isn't just a personal tragedy for these individuals, it's a societal crisis in the making. A generation of disengaged and disillusioned youth is a recipe for economic stagnation and social unrest. We need to invest in our young people, provide them with the tools and opportunities they need to thrive, or risk facing the consequences of their lost potential. Imagine the untapped potential that lies within these young individuals. They could be the next innovators, leaders, and change-makers if given the right support and opportunities. Programs that offer mentorship, vocational training, and mental health support can make a world of difference. These initiatives can help bridge the gap between where these young people are now and where they could be. It's not just about getting them into jobs or schools. It's about empowering them to find their passion and purpose. When young people feel valued and supported, they are more likely to contribute positively to society. Community involvement and extracurricular activities can also play a crucial role. These experiences help build confidence, teamwork, and a sense of belonging, which are essential for personal and professional growth. By investing in our youth, we are investing in the future of our society. Let's not allow this generation to be defined by what they lack, but by what they can achieve with the right support. The road ahead may be challenging, but with collective effort and commitment, we can turn the tide. Let's work together to ensure that every young person has the opportunity to succeed and thrive. After all, the future belongs to the young, and it's our responsibility to pave the way for their success. Let's make sure no one is left behind. Remember the days when moving back in with your parents was a sign of failure, a punchline to a bad joke? Well, those days are long gone, folks. These days, it's practically a rite of passage for young adults. More and more young people are finding themselves priced out of the housing market, burdened by debt, and forced to crawl back to their childhood bedrooms, tails between their legs. It's enough to make you want to invest in earplugs and a really good therapist. The numbers don't lie, folks. Last year, a whopping 58% of young adults aged 24 and younger admitted to moving back in with their parents. That's right, over half of them. And it's not just a temporary blip either. This trend has been steadily increasing for years, fueled by a perfect storm of economic factors. We're talking stagnant wages, skyrocketing housing costs, and an education system that leaves graduates drowning in debt. It's no wonder so many young people are throwing in the towel on independent living and embracing the comforts of home-cooked meals and free laundry. But let's be clear, this isn't a sustainable solution. It's a Band-Aid on a gaping economic wound. So there you have it, folks. The not-so-pretty picture of the economic reality facing millions of young Americans today. They're drowning in debt, priced out of the housing market, and struggling to make ends meet in an economy that seems rigged against them. They were promised the American dream, but instead, they got a participation trophy and a mountain of bills. It's enough to make you want to scream into the void, but let's be honest, the void is probably too busy doom-scrolling on TikTok to listen. So what can we do? For starters, we can acknowledge the problem. We can stop blaming young people for their struggles and start demanding better from our elected officials. We can fight for policies that prioritize affordable housing, accessible education, and a living wage. The future of our nation depends on the success of our young people. Let's not let them down. And if all else fails, there's always the option of moving to a country with free healthcare and affordable college. Just saying.